Your Majesty, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. This week has seen a celebration of the advances in forensic sciences in Europe and indeed across the world. This scientific meeting, which has been organized in the very heart of the Netherlands, has been successful in highlighting innovations in forensic science and technology, reviewing processes in forensic evidence, looking at how we can strengthen forensic evidence. It has also looked at education, training, and assessment of professionals in the criminal justice system. And of course, it has looked at forensic cooperation and communication. Today, more than ever before, forensic science has proven to be a very important component of the criminal justice system. If and when used properly, it ensures a fair and objective trial. Let's look at a few examples. DNA analysis, advanced techniques in crime scene reconstruction. These are just a few of the things which have made our profession very popular and credible. And it is good to realize that where there is subjectivity, where gaps have been identified, efforts are being made to bring in scientific methods. Your Majesty, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the world in which we live is changing. We face new challenges, most of which are associated with transnational organized crime. These include a recent surge of new psychoactive substances, often referred to as bath salts and legal highs by criminals. We also face challenges from human trafficking, especially trafficking of women and children into the sex industry. We also face challenges with trafficking of firearms and cybercrime. These crimes do not recognize national boundaries, and they threaten the very basis of peace, human development, and security. Our world has grown smaller, and transnational organized crime reaches into every region and every country around the world. The human cost associated with transnational organized crime is a major concern, with countless lives lost each year. We require global concerted effort based on the principle of shared responsibility in addressing the challenges of transnational organized crime. But how prepared are we? Indeed, meetings such as these are encouraging in making us aware of the forensic tools and services which can be deployed as our contribution to making the world safer from drugs, crime, and terrorism. Now, let me take you back to literature. We are seeing good times. We've had a very good week. But let's think of Charles Dickens and The Tale of Two Cities. And I quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair." That sums up the world in which we live today. Throughout the world, there are institutions totally unprepared to face the challenges of the modern era. Some countries targeted by illicit drug traffickers lack basic capacity to even identify the chemicals they're trying to fight. Expertise for processing crime scenes are non-existent in some countries or woefully inadequate. What does this mean to us? It means the guilty might walk free in some countries, and the innocent may never get a chance to prove their innocence. the cases you painstakingly build in transnational organized crimes may fall in other jurisdictions due to reasons which could be avoided. In some cases, sharing our knowledge, sharing our expertise can make a big difference. So what's the role of international cooperation in all this? Combating transnational organized crime requires international cooperation. And this in the forensic sciences can take different forms. This includes technical assistance, cross-border operations, exchange of forensic data, and recognition of the complementary role of forensic science service providers, regional organizations such as EAFS2012, as well as bilateral organizations such as the NFI in the operations, in promoting a comprehensive and cost-effective approach. From the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, we have been assisting member states to ensure that they have access to and actually use quality forensic science services in their efforts against drugs, crime, and terrorism. How do we do this? We help in developing and making forensic science tools and standards available and accessible in all the languages of the United Nations. We provide member states with guidelines, best practice manuals, reference standards, and these are often given out free of charge or, at worst, at cost-neutral levels. Once we make it available to them, our work does not end at that point. We go forward in making sure that these standards, these tools, these guidelines are actually used to internationally accepted standards of practice. We do this through trainings, through proficiency tests, and through guidance on how to implement quality management systems. The third part of our work, which involves people like you, is where we encourage forensic scientists to interact with medicine, law, and law enforcement. And by doing this, we find forensic information and data being increasingly used in drug control and crime prevention frameworks. In 2010, the governing body of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the Crime Commission, in its resolution 19/5, entitled Promoting International Cooperation in the Forensic Science Field, recognized the importance of international collaboration in the way we do business. It further recognized the role networks like you play in achieving these objectives. My office has been supporting the formation of forensic networks around the world. And the past years have witnessed existing networks such as EAFS2012, the American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors, ICEF representing Spain, Portugal, and Latin America, SMANSville representing Australia and New Zealand, all coming together under the umbrella of the International Forensic Strategic Alliance to aid in the development of newer forensic networks like the Asian Forensic Sciences Network and the Southern African Forensic Network. But are we doing enough? When you talk to scientists across the spectrum, everyone sees the benefits in international cooperation. No one comes up with a negative. And in terms of the positives, cases are made for international cooperation providing a platform for knowledge transfer, a platform for harmonization of training. It aids in benchmarking. It results in optimized use of resources, especially in parts of the world where laboratories are very little to work with. It also provides ready access to subject matter experts, as you would have realized during this conference, and it fosters good forensic practices. But cooperation and communication, like we've had this week, should not end with our own. We should extend it to other circles, to medicine, to law enforcement, because we work in a multidisciplinary environment in the modern era. Your Majesty, Your Excellency, dear ladies and gentlemen, there is a need to pursue more effective ways of cooperation and communication. Transnational organized crime is about networks, and we can only dismantle this network if we form a stronger network. The future of forensic sciences, dear colleagues, lies in international cooperation. Our future, your future, lies in international cooperation. Thank you very much.